I wouldn't say it's the Indian version of Game of Thrones because, if you're comparing the scale, it's a compliment. Even though this is probably the most expensive show to come out of India, they are working within certain limitations and stuff. And for them to still, match up to certain international standards, I think is a big compliment for everybody that was involved in the show.
Hey guys, this is Hitesh Malik. You're watching me on Bollywood Live. और आज जो मेरे सामने बैठे हैं मैं उन्हें इंटरव्यू करने के लिए बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ क्योंकि मुगल एम्परर बाबर मेरे सामने बैठे हुए हैं. कुणाल, वेलकम टू द पोर्टल. हाउ यू डूइंग?
I'm doing very well, yeah. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good and congratulations for the overwhelming response that you're getting for the show. Of course, I must say it's indeed very, very nicely made.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been incredible post the release. The sort of reaction that we got from inside within the industry and outside the industry has been completely overwhelming and remarkable. So yeah, very excited about that.
That's so cool. Starting from my first question, it is like, what's your opinion of Babar as a person? Like you've been doing the character, but what do you think of him as a person?
You know, I didn't get into. We've never said that we're trying to make a biopic on Babar. We always said that this is a work of historical fiction. And it is based in history, but it has also been fictionalized, of course. And for me, I think what was very important was not to refer to how he was portrayed in history, but to refer to what was written in the book. Because I think it's very important to be completely honest with the source material. And in this case, the source material was the book. And the vision of the director, of course. So the way I played the character is just the way the character is written in the book.
Okay, speaking about the book itself, but you are playing the character. What do you feel about the character?
Well, the way the character is written, what I found most interesting about this character was that, look, whenever you play whenever you see a king or an emperor or a badshah in the movies or a show, they're always larger than life. They speak a certain way, they talk a certain way, they behave a certain way. Whereas what I found most interesting about this character is I found him deeply flawed.
Right.
This is a character that is emotionally weak, falls apart very often, becomes an alcoholic whenever he's faced with a situation which is difficult, and needs actually the women in his life to put him together.
Right.
Whether it's his grandmother, his sister, his wife. Secondly, this is a character that has a lot of self-doubt.
Right.
Is always wondering whether am I meant to be the king? Do I deserve this? Do I not deserve this? And I found that very interesting and very atypical. It's something that could have gone very wrong because, you have an image of what a king is in your mind. And to be honest, when I started reading it first, that's the first instinct that I had. I should play it more authoritative and more commanding because that's how kings are played.
Right.
But fortunately, we didn't go down that route, and we decided that we wanted to do it in a whole different way. And that, I think, for me was something that was very exciting to do. And from the reactions I've got, that's what people have enjoyed. The fact that, I've not played it like a typical king.
I absolutely love the portrayal, and kudos to you. You have done a fantastic job in there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So my next question is, you've said in an interview that you've read the book 4 months prior to when this came to you. So I want to know, in your head, what was the vision when you were reading, and do you think that has transpired exactly the same, or what are the changes that are different from your head?
No, I think the book was obviously much longer and more extensive. We had the luxury of only one season, so it had to be condensed. A lot of things had to be taken out, and what the director and the filmmakers felt was most relevant to the story was picked up. So ideally, there should have been a show. I guess Babar's story should have been over 2 seasons, but that was not possible. So that is something that changed. But when I first read the book, what I found most interesting was like I said, was how this character was put out there. Was very different from how emperors and badshahs are usually projected.
Right.
The other thing that I found very interesting was the power that the women had. Whenever you do a period show, women are peripheral characters that need to be protected by the men.
Right.
Whereas in this, the women were very powerful. They were calling the shots. They were making very important decisions.
Yeah.
They were emotionally manipulating the men.
Especially your sister.
Yeah, they were the kingmakers, and for me, I found that very interesting when reading the book, that the amount of power that the women actually had, and the fact that nobody's actually portrayed that.
Okay. So we know that you have died in season 1, but in season 2, do we see you in the memories, or are you in any capacity a part of the season 2, or how you guys are approaching season 2? Are you in talks? What's been happening?
I don't know as yet. I think season 2 is in development.
Okay.
I don't know what direction that's going to go into right now. But in fact, the second part of the series of the books, which is based on Humayun's life, is very, very exciting. Because Humayun's life was very... he had a completely crazy life. He was... there was a lot that happened to him. And I think it would make a really exciting series. But I don't know what's going on with that right now. But I think the filmmakers will be best placed.
But would you like to be in the memories of people? Would you like to shoot for the season 2 as well?
Well, I'm not quite sure, because I'm getting into other films now and other shows, and I'm going to change completely. There was a particular look that we played with Babar.
Right.
Now it's not possible for me to do that all over again if I've shaved and I've got a haircut and stuff. So those are things that we'll have to take into consideration and decide which sort of route we want to go down.
Okay. Which is your favorite scene in the season first, and which scene was most difficult to put?
Just my scene or any scene that was my favorite?
Yeah, any scene could be your favorite.
I think my favorite scene, the way it was shot and the way it sort of played out emotionally, was between Shehbani and Khanza. The one where Shehbani dies. When I read the script, I thought that was the best scene because, it's a very interesting scene for both the characters, because you have a character that is almost bad throughout, and is somebody who can be very vicious and vile.
Yeah.
But has a change of heart, and then gets betrayed by the woman he loves. So I thought that was a very, very sort of beautiful, poignant scene, and she shot it beautifully.
Yeah, like the way she was carrying the dupatta out. Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
It was very, very
nicely
poetic.
Shot. Yeah.
So I that was my favorite scene. I think the most challenging was the action scenes for us, of course, because we were shooting a lot of them during the pandemic, and also we were shooting in Rajasthan. Hot. It was very hot when we were shooting. Horses, elephants, fires, smoke. Hundreds of character artists and junior artists. The armor is very heavy, the swords are very heavy. So you're shooting 12-hour, 13-hour days. So those I think were very, very challenging to shoot. But I had a lot of fun doing them also because, I've always wanted to do action and nobody's ever offered that to me. Here was my chance to do action and, I really enjoyed it.
That's so cool. So you have been mentioning that you have been include अब now बहुत सारे projects आ रहे हैं आपके पास. So what is there anything that you can talk about yet? Can you mention few for the audience, or you want to keep it a secret?
Hey, secret to me. I mean, I have to wait till I've signed them. Of course, these are projects that have been offered to me in the last couple of weeks, and I'm reading scripts. I'm reading scripts for movies, shows, all of that. So. It's too early to talk about it till I don't sign them. I'm also developing my own work. I've turned producer and I've also been writing work, which I want to add with. So those are scripts that I'm working on.
What kind of work do you write about? What's your genre?
They're all very different. I mean, I've got lots of ideas that I've been developing over the years, and I think they're very different from each other. But I think what's common between all of them that I really enjoy is most of the characters are slightly flawed. And those are characters that I enjoy the most, because in life I think we're all flawed. We all have a good parts and good bad parts, and nobody's all hero and all villain. So it's those characters in between, which have good things to them, but also have personality
dark shades,
defects which hold them back. Are the ones that I enjoy the most.
Great. So do you find time to watch content, because now we are in the content revolutionary stage? So what kind of content do you usually watch, and what are your favorites these days?
Well, I actually don't get a chance to watch as much as I'd like to watch because I'm busy with other things. But I also have a tech company which takes up a lot of time. I'm also developing another tech company, which again is very time consuming. So I don't really get the chance that as much time as I'd like to get. But I enjoy every kind of show actually. Usually the shows that I watch and invest time in are the ones that are highly recommended by friends. The last I watched, which was amazing, was Mayor of Easttown, Kate Winslet. That was a great show. Then I watched. I've been watching a lot of Korean shows. I find those very good. So I've watched a couple of Korean shows in the last couple of months. Yeah, so just different kinds of content.
And in Indian content, what kind of content you have latestly seen and admired?
I've watched a couple of movies from the South Indian film industry, and those have been very, very good. There was a Malayalam film that I watched which was really good, The Great Indian Kitchen.
I've watched that.
There was a film with Dhanush's new film which I watched, which was very, very good. So a lot of films from down south, because I think they're making actually the best kind of content right now. The best movies and best shows are actually coming out of there. So I've been watching a lot of content from the South Indian film industry.
Okay. And lastly, I would like to ask is what kind of course you've gotten really massive response for the show. So what is that one thing that stuck with you that maybe stole your heart and you're like, oh, that's the best thing?
Well, I don't want to get into names, but a friend's father and mother called me up and they spoke to me for 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And told me about how much they love the show and how much they love the performance. And they watched the show twice, actually.
Wow.
They watched it in one go, then they called me up and then they watched it the next day again. And I think that was something that was very special because they were very emotional and they really enjoyed the performance in the show. So that was it was a wonderful call.
So cool, yeah, Kunal. Of course, it is needless to say the show is grand, the performances and everything is just so good, and I think we kind of needed that Indian version of Game of Thrones. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the Indian version of Game of Thrones because I mean, if you're comparing the scale, it's a compliment. But we're also, even though this is probably the most expensive show to come out of India,
exactly,
we're still very, very far behind when it comes to budgets.
Right.
The budget of our whole season must be half of what the budget of their one show is. One episode.
Yeah.
So,
but in this budget, you guys have actually, in this budget, if you guys have reached to that level where that people are comparing it, and quality-wise also, when we make shows, graphically, it's not that good. Like if we make these kind of periodic shows, but in this particular show, I think the quality was so nice that you couldn't figure out when was the graphic thing happening and when was the real thing was happening. So that's
a big compliment, I think, for the filmmakers and the VFX people because they are working within certain limitations and stuff, and for them to still match up to certain international standards, I think is a big compliment for everybody that was involved in the show.
So cool, Kunal. With that, thank you so much for being a part of this interesting conversation. And with that, I want to watch more of you and more you doing a lot of different type of characters. And I hope we speak next soon for your upcoming project.
Thank you so much, man.